Hello, hello, Dr. John Jakob Guderson here, the singing psychiatrist. So it was many years ago when I was a 19-year-old fellow, I fell into a huge funk. I don't know what was going on, but all this stuff felt like it was happening inside of me. I was depressed every single day. I was struggling, suffering inside. I had no joy. I couldn't eat. I was losing weight. I couldn't sleep. Thoughts kept going through my head again and again. I was in a state of emotional and mental paralysis. What should I do with my life? I don't know where I'm going. Ironically, I was traveling in Europe with a couple friends of mine, which is what everybody did back in those days. And yet I was suffering inside. At that time, a song came out by the famous songwriter Paul Simon called American Tune. And boy, did those words ever resonate with me. I don't know a soul who's not been battered. I don't have a friend who feels at ease. Don't know a dream that's not been shattered or driven to its knees. I feel like my dreams were being shattered. And then later in the song it says, I wonder what's gone wrong. I can't help it. I wonder what's gone wrong. Yep. I was wondering, what is going wrong? So upon my return to America, I actually went and I spoke with a rabbi, even though in those days I didn't really speak with rabbis too much. And I said, I'm very perplexed. I've got these 5 things that I want to do with my life professionally, and I need to choose which one. Which one is the right one for me? Rabbi, can you help me? Tell me which one I should choose. The rabbi looked at me with a smile on his face and he said, John, I can't choose the profession for you, but I can tell you what you need to do in a larger sense, which is you need to know yourself. You need to get to know your identity, who you are. Go back, understand your ancestry, understand where you came from, and then know what your purpose is in the world, why you are here. Once you clarify those things, then the choice of what to do will follow naturally. But Rabbi, you don't understand. I need to figure this out. I need to figure this out now. I'm suffering. Can't you see? Rabbi smiled, and with a lot of care, he repeated his words. But I was in no place then. I was a young guy. I wasn't able to absorb his words, and I went on and was very frustrated and depressed and paralyzed. What to do? It took a while. But eventually I did come out of it, and I then recognized the power, the wisdom of the rabbi's words. And I came to understand what identity is all about. Identity falls, basically, to simplify, I guess, into 3 categories. First of all, there's our nature, what we would call DNA. What we've inherited from our parents, our grandparents, from our ancestry. Certain kinds of ways about us. We have discovered in psychiatry that DNA has an incredible amount to do with even our personality style, let alone our mood, our anxieties, all these things, our resilience. DNA is ever so powerful. And we know that when people don't have enough of the neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, that could result in some profound depressions and intense anxiety and obsessional thinking. Next, for identity, is our nurture. The things that happened to us when we were, especially when we were very young. The wonderful things that happened to us, the attachments we made, primarily with our parents, and then the attachment ruptures that have happened to us as well. To better understand this, because those things, especially in our early years, can affect our neurons. And those neurons get set, and we wind up responding to things in certain ways. Now, of course, we can work on this. That's where therapy can be ever so powerful. And we know with neuron plasticity that we can actually change the configurations of our neurons, and we can turn our life around. But what I ultimately discovered is that what's most important for identity is to recognize that inside of us, we actually have a soul. This may seem obvious. Of course we have a soul. We human beings, we have an actual piece of divinity there inside of us. In that song, American Tune, another part goes, And I dreamed that my soul rose unexpectedly, looking back down at me, smiled reassuringly. Because yes, we do have a soul. But our soul doesn't go out of us, except when we pass away physically. The soul is there inside of us. It's a piece of divinity inside of us. And that's why we human beings, we all have this incredible yearning for that which is transcendent. Sadly, unfortunately, in the world of mental and emotional health, oftentimes, too often, the soul is ignored. And yet it's such a vital part. It's the most vital part. It's actually who we really are. Once we understand this, that we can work on being connected to our soul. We need to understand that actually, despite the fact that we have all this physical stuff around us, this material stuff around us, our essence is that we are actually spiritual beings living in a physical world. We need to integrate the spiritual and the physical and channel the physical, therefore, to become more holy, more spiritual. How to go about this? Well, first, to start with that realization. Next, to wake up every single morning with a sense of gratitude, to be thankful for the soul that I have inside of me, to start every day with that consciousness. And then to spend time. You know, many of us may work out physically. It takes a lot of work. We have to do it every day to work on ourselves. The same thing applies spiritually. We don't just go on a weekend retreat. We don't just go to synagogue or church or a monastery for a day once a week. No, it has to be an everyday type of thing. We can read things, study things that are related to spirituality. And then to spend time in meditation or mindfulness, or call it prayer, where we connect. The more you do that every day, the more you get in touch with that which is the essence of who you are. And finally, and perhaps most important, then to reach out. Reach out to the world, reach out to others, try to help others. And what you discover is that your mood is a lot better, your feelings are a lot better. Many people, they chase after happiness. I want to be happy, I want to be happy. And all they're thinking about is themselves. Me, me, me. Unfortunately, that's a lot of the world that we live in. But when we reach out to others, not only will it help them, but it will come back and help ourselves as well. And so, yes, I was perplexed back then, 19 years old and well into my 20s. It was my journey. And what I've discovered is we all have our journey. We have to make the journey our journey. And what I also discovered is because I was suffering so, I was in such a state of depression and paralysis, that it's actually been helpful for me in my work as a psychiatrist, because I'm able to understand what people are going through. By going through my own struggles, I'm able to connect with others. And so, yes, we all need to go on our journey. We need to make it our own. And yes, we can, to help us with depression, with emotional paralysis, obsessional thinking, yes, medication can be ever so helpful. That's true. Medication is not always the answer. Yes, therapy can be incredibly powerful. We can reconfigure our neurons and work on ourselves. But most important is to be connected to our soul. With that recipe, I've seen it help so many people. You know, at the end of that beautiful song, American Tune, it says, oh, tomorrow's gonna be another working day. I'm trying to get some rest. That's all I'm trying, to get some rest. So yeah, rest is important. We need to have the time to rest in order to get the energy that we need. But rest should not take over our entire life. Rest should not be a form of giving up. We need to do the work to be in touch with who we really are and find our purpose and our mission as we go forward.